I don't know your background, but that felt
How to
dark.
make the whole room
My father
awkward.
died when I was 9.
Well, that'd be the dark.
That'll be the dark.
That'd be the dark.
Yes, there it is.
He didn't die. He just sort of like reverse lived very quickly.
Would you like to hear the story?
In fairness, if you're going to go out, it's a pretty good way of going out.
No, he was a pilot. He was a test pilot for British Aerospace, and he was doing a show in Slovakia, and he did what's called a lazy barrel roll, and he was always a bit of a maverick and liked to push limits, and he pushed too far, and he crashed, and it's got a bit deep pretty quick, hasn't it? It's the way I would have preferred him to go out. To be honest, as horrible as that sounds, I'm not glad my dad died, but if he was going to die...
A literal blaze of glory.
The only thing he loved more than his kids was like flying, so do that, do you know what I mean? Hopefully I'll die in the gym.
What was that quote of his that you told me about ages ago that I really enjoyed? Something about I had to step out or something like that. That's a good story. I like that one.
He had a few crash stories, did me old pa. This is what I mean by he's a bit of a maverick. So the first, I believe... I would have to cross-reference with my mum, but I believe the first time he crashed was in Germany, and he hit a TV mast, like a broadcast tower thing, just clipped it with his wing. And in the official report, what he actually had to write down in the crash report was, I looked out of the window and noticed the wing was on fire, so I thought I'd better step outside. Bear in mind he's flying at like 500 miles an hour with one wing at this point. But yeah, my mum has still got the handle, because nowadays it's a lot more modern. We're going back to like the 80s here, late 70s even maybe. He used to have to pull this cord, and an actual like shotgun round pretty much set off the ignition for the ejection. And my mum's still got the cord and the shotgun shell thing that like set it off. But I'm probably getting these numbers a bit wrong, but I swear it's 11 and 2 something. But the average time at the time for ejecting, from realising you had no choice to eject and actually ejecting out of the plane, was 11.6 seconds or thereabouts. My dad was out of the plane in like 2.5. Like, his reaction times were just dumb. He just took risks.
And the thought process was, should probably step outside.
I'll step outside.
I should probably
do, yeah. And then once he landed in his parachute and everything, you have this emergency dinghy. He's in the middle of a cornfield, pretty much, or similar in Germany, and he just blows up his bright orange inflatable dinghy and just starts waving it, just hoping that like nearby farmers are gonna see, because I'm talking like hundreds of miles of farmland, so people probably didn't even see the crash. Really, they probably heard it and came to investigate. So, yeah, that was the first one. Another one that he did was, I'm a bit sparse on the details, but for some reason people were like talking about what this plane could handle, this particular plane at the time, so he just like got in the plane and flew it straight up, just vertically as high as he could until the engines conked out, and then pulled like more G's than any other pilot's ever pulled, managed to get the engine working again and landed the thing. In the process of doing all that, he popped every single rivet on the plane and totaled it, and this is like a 40 million pound plane.
It's literally Iron Man 1.
Yeah, pretty much. Marvel owes me money. Don't know why they owe me. Marvel owes my mum money. Yeah, so I'm like, he came down and got the engine started and stuff, but he just absolutely totaled this plane, and he landed it and came back and was like, well, you've got the black box data now you know what it can do. He was a test pilot, man. They hired him to like do a certain thing, and he just went, F it, just do the real thing.
The After Hours Podcast.
Check it out, y'all.
He's the reason I'm American as well. He's not American, but I am. My mum's not American. But basically one day in like 1988, my dad came home from work with the Royal Air Force, mustache and all, and pretty much said to my mum, we need to move to Las Vegas on like Monday, and I can't tell you why. What? And my mum was like, cool, let me just grab our 18-month-old son, my brother, and we'll move to Las Vegas in a few days. So they did. Wow. And then like he was working, the stealth fighter, the black triangle plane, the original stealth plane. He was actually working on that in secret.
Hell, man.
And then eventually, like a bit later, that was all over, and we moved back to England. And then that's boring England again. But I was actually in Las Vegas as a baby, so I am technically American, even though I hold no.
So on some record somewhere, are you like American? Does it say like
American
I've
passport?
got a passport, I've got a social security number.
Wow.
Like, to the point where I'm so American, right? And this could happen, maybe, if America goes to like all-out war and starts conscripting.
Move to Canada.
I'm fully going to be denouncing my citizenship. Like, no, just British, thank you.
Yeah.
Not American, you can conscript your boys over there.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
Interesting fact about denouncing your citizenship, though. This is hilarious. Donald Trump becomes president, yeah? And I'm like, hell, this guy.
He's your president.
So out of curiosity,
We have Boris.
I go online and I'm like,
that much better.
oh, what's all this about denouncing citizenship that you can do? So I look at it and it's like the equivalent of like £200 or something, the application fees and the admin fees, which is reasonable. And then like 4 days, like this is just before he gets elected, right? And then like 4 or 5 days later, I went on the same website, just like, you know, I might actually have, if shit goes wrong quickly, like a lot of the extremist left guys were saying it was going to do, like, this is going to be bad quick, I'm going to get conscripted and shit. So I go back on there, I'm like, how much is it to denounce your citizenship? And again, I'm fudging the figures a bit, but it's like £1,000.
Jesus.
It like increased by 500%, like
you
a
have to pay
ridiculous amount.
To not be
So,
American.
Yeah, which is understandable. You have to pay an admin fee and whatever, and then like more and more stuff comes out, and basically it comes about that they haven't increased the price to capitalize on the fact that everybody wants to leave. It's the demand on that service grew so much overnight that they were having to hire more people, that it physically cost them more to do.
That makes
so the
perfect
customer
sense,
had
yeah.
to spend more. So like literally,
So that's like Uber surge, mate.
literally exactly. Donald Trump became president, and
Trump
so
surge.
many people started trying to jump ship. We have to bill more for this because it's bankrupting us.
The After Hours Podcast.
I'll tell you what though, going back to the American passport, the good story of that coming in handy once a while back when
Here we go.
when Josh was doing the battle rap thing as these guys started
time
out with
ago.
it was way back, wasn't it? And Josh was rapping in an American accent at the time, when
Which
he
was
starting out.
smart.
Nah, man. Do what you're doing, innit? You're American. Yeah, but
I'll preface this by saying it was an act, and the name Disguise is obviously a play on disguise, so it wasn't literally me. I was playing a character, but I was also very lazy, so I sort of just did it from my point of view and didn't really invent a character. I just liked the accent, but that was my
I think it was.
justification.
I think These Guys was a very exaggerated version of yourself,
Pretty much, yeah. It was a caricature, we'll say.
like an American.
The exaggerated me is very American, yeah.
But yeah, do you remember Don't Flop? The
Yeah,
rap
not
battle league.
flop. I never went to any with them, but
Right, Josh went to compete in one, and the kid obviously was like dissing him, saying, "Why have you got an American accent?" I don't remember the line. Do you remember the line?
My line.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was something. But in this life, you usually get what you ask for. You don't think I have the right to rap with this accent? And I pull it out and go, right here is my American passport.
Yeah, and it was a proper
Literally
moment,
pulled
you know,
it out
like,
in front of the crowd, like, yeah, I've got a stupid
That's
accent,
bad boy,
but
that.
here's some legit evidence of why I'm kind of allowed.
yeah.
It was like it was my equivalent of a hood pass, but a yank pass.
But in life, there are rarely
It was
accidents. You people will usually get what you ask for. Who thinks I don't have the right to rap with this accent? Right here is my American passport.
Good old
And I was
days.
like, yeah, no, this'll legit work. I'll sell millions rapping in an American
what was
accent about violence and politics and nothing else.
What was the mixtape called?
Oh, setting fire to bitches and smashing up Burger King.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That was the actual
from all
title
the
of
fighting
like
and murdering.
officially pressed CD.
I'll be setting fire to bitches and smashing up Burger King.
If anybody wants to come and get their ass kicked, I'll knock you out so hard I'll knock the planet off its axis. I fully thought, I was like, yeah, no, this has mass appeal. This will be fine. I'll just literally threaten to murder people several times on a CD in an American accent over stolen beats
I loved it.
that I stole from the likes of DMX and Biggie Smalls and shit, and was like, yeah, put this on a physical CD. Let's see if I get sued. And in my head, I'm going, yeah, I hope I do get sued.
Any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought process. I was like, yeah, no, I'm just working as a bouncer right now, but I'm gonna be famous with the rap shit. And it's sort of like, eventually I kind of grew out of it, and I think towards the end, I dropped the accent and I made a couple of tracks, and then we made The Grave Concern,
Oh shit!
which was a whole thing.
I saw that.
We were gonna take over, man. We were gonna take the over. We really were. Like, we grew pretty quick, to be fair.
Oh no, we did. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We did one music video we shot another one, but politics or something. Like we did shoot one. Basically, it's a horrorcore kind of like weird rap.
It was just one tune, really,
group.
wasn't it?
And that was a weird tune as well. It was kind of like drum and bassy metal.
Yeah, so you made this dark tune, and we were like, what can we even do with this? And I was like, let's get you, me, and the guy Sakib on, and the three of us will spit on it, and we're like, we'll do a horrorcore tune. It kind of sounds horrorcore, but it's more in the drum and bass. It's more got that Manchester appeal. Let's collaborate on it. And then I don't remember how, but we basically went, let's become the hip hop Slipknot. Let's put,
I suppose, yeah.
Let's put some masks on and let's hide our identities and name ourselves numbers instead of names.
From my perspective, I was hiding my face because of the shit that was being said on the records.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were saying horrific things, and it was like, initially we wrote it and we were like, oh, can we get away with this? And I think that's kind of how it came about as well, because we were like, how can I literally talk about the worst things we could say?
Yeah. Deliberately.
And we were like, we cannot have our faces on this. So like the whole concept of the mask came out. It was literally like, we'd sit there in the studio, none of us had even come with bars, and we'd all have like pen and pad out, and we'd be like, right, what's the worst thing you can think of? And then they'd something, and then you'd have to think of something worse, and you just go round in that circle. And then when the energy was right and you were all just like, and all inhibitions had gone, and it was just like the worst possible thing you could say, bar racist attacks, because that was like the one thing we agreed we couldn't really include in music, but the rest of it, f*** it man, let's go in. So we went hard on a lot of tracks, and we had an EP out, and then the whole it was f***ed up as well, because we were kind of done with it. The whole reason we stopped really was because we shot this video. There was a lot of politics involved and a lot of stuff happening in set people's personal lives that affected this video just not getting done.
Was this the second one?
Yeah, the one that, and then like the video sort of never came to be, and we'd all chucked a few £100 each at this. I mean, it wasn't a huge chunk of money, but it was enough that feathers were ruffled and stuff. And we sort of like, because the video never came to be, we were like, this is a lot of effort, and all three of us had certain things that were going on in our lives as well. We all had jobs, all the rest of it, and we were like, this is effort. We're not famous. What are we like? And then we just sort of just carried on with our lives. We never really, we didn't agree to stop. Essentially, like we put so much work in, and we made this video, and the video never came to be, and it was like, well, we just won't bother then, and we didn't, and we just sort of stopped, and then like we all sort of went our separate ways in life for a bit, and it just wasn't meant to be. But yeah, we did that show at Necro, and people fucking loved it.
So the two success stories. The first video that was shot called Yum Yum, which was the one that was different from the rest because it was the original idea.
Yeah, it was the drum and bass.
And the rest we kind of went with hip hop, like pretty standard horrorcore rap shit. But yeah, the first one, the video, Josh tweeted Insane Clown Posse.
Insane Clown Posse.
And they
retweeted the video.
Retweeted it and were like, check these, but wrote a thing about it.
10,000 views.
So we got 10,000 views in about 3 days, and we were like, that's viral, that's gonna go. Didn't put an age restriction on it. Someone complained, it got took down.
And
we were that disappointed it took us that long to put it back up with an age restriction.
Yeah.
It's still there now. It's still on about.
In those
I've
days,
not checked, it's probably
in those
not
days
even
of
10 now.
YouTube as well, it was different as well, because if your video got taken down for violating community guidelines, it got taken down. It didn't get taken out of circulation, and then you could do the thing necessary. Like nowadays, you could put the age restriction on, and the video would go back up and be like, it would still be demonetized and all this stuff. But they literally deleted it, so 10,000 views disappeared. And it disappeared from everybody's watched videos list that they've seen before, so there was zero chance of rewatchability from other people. So we re-uploaded the video with the age restriction, but it never really got the traction, and that was a big hit in the demoralisation for us.
Yeah.
And then we were like, right, let's get this second one done.
I couldn't be asked from then.
Yeah.
So I was dragging my feet after that.
And I think we could tell all three of us were a bit like we sort of like it was dumb because we could have just pressed on, but we were a bit like, oh, we've lost our opportunity, there's no point now. Do you know what I mean? Like, the crux of it was arguably the shittest rap group in the world.
Yeah, but it was something
could have made us famous and then didn't, and we were like, well, there'll never be anything better than that.
The EP was quite well done. I'm not necessarily disappointed with it.
The EP came out sick, just not enough people heard it.
Semi-proud of it.
Life gets in the way
people heard
sometimes
it.
as well, isn't it, when you're doing shit like that?
Yeah. No, we did that Necro show.
That was it.
Which was the other success story.
Yeah.
When you play it.
I'll just flash up a link.
Go
and listen to the Grave Concern here.
Yeah.
It's what we were saying a few years back when we were a bit weirder and different.
And bear in mind, we didn't ever think we were ever going to reveal our identities, and this is the first
that's
time
a
I think
point.
we actually publicly have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Sorry, any of my one-to-one personal training clients who might listen to this podcast and then click
Jesus.
that link and then find out who I really am.
You just done yourself.
They all know I'm a lunatic anyway.
I couldn't imagine not turning up to one of your training sessions.
Oh, you'd be surprised how many people take the piss, man.
Serious?
Oh yeah, I had a great one recently.
Oh, go on, Josh.
Sometimes people will just no-show, and it's weird. And you text them and you're like, "What's going on?" And then it's really weird because they ghost you like an ex. It's hysterical. Like, I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging now, yeah. But I do pretty well. I train a fair few people. I'm making all right money. Do you know what I mean? So if I lose a client at this stage of my career, it's not a problem. So if people don't want to train with me anymore, they turn to me and say, "I don't want to train with me anymore." I'm like, "Okay. Enjoy the rest of your life. Thanks for paying me for the sessions that you've done. I hope you learn things. Nice one. Carry on with your life. I'll go and get a new client now."
But don't ghost
But a lot
them.
of people will just go, "Oh, I don't want to do PT anymore, but I don't want to hurt Josh's feelings, so I'll just never show up at the gym again, never answer any texts or calls, and cancel my gym membership from home, because I'd rather do that than deal with conflict."
Which, ironically, guys, really hurts his feelings. So
really-
just stop it.
Yeah.
Just let him know.
Call 0702345 to stop hurting Josh. Please donate £2. That's all he needs to stop the hurt.
Obviously, I care about my clients and stuff, but when people decide that the time's up, because it happens, it's a natural course of the journey for most people. Some clients stay with you for years, some stay for months, some stay for weeks. Some hire you once, decide they don't like you, and just carry on with their life, and you go, fair enough. And if you can't handle rejection, it's not the job for you, but
don't people about, just let people know.
this is my issue, right? And I said this to one client, and I swear it's the closest I've ever come to hitting a woman.
Me.
And I'll just say for clarification, I was a doorman. For anyone who doesn't know, I was a bouncer on nightclubs for 10 years. And this situation is the closest I've come to actually socking a woman in the face. I've had interactions with women on the doors and stuff, but I've never punched one hard in the face. But this time, oh my God. Yeah. This woman had consistently taken the piss, right? And when you're new to the career, this is a few years ago, you can't stand the idea of losing a client, so you'll do anything to make them happy. So if they don't show up, they're like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not coming." You're like, "Oh, that's fine, no worries, we'll rearrange another time." You don't dare charge them for not showing up, because like, "Oh shit, if I charge them for this, they've not even done the session, they'll never come and I'll lose the money moving forward."
Right.
So you don't trust in your abilities enough, and you're like, "Oh, I can't possibly do it." So she'd done it like 4 times in a row, which means I'd booked out.
Lost money as well.
Exactly, I booked out this session. I charged £25 an hour at the time. So each time she'd done it, I'd lost £25 effectively, because I could have put somebody else in that session, but it was blanked out for her, and then she didn't show up last minute. So on like the 4th time, I was like, "You can't keep doing this to me. Like, I can't earn a living this way. You've got to understand, like, this is my career." And she just wasn't asked at all. And I was like, try and think of it this way. Like, if you have a doctor's appointment, you don't just no-show to the appointment. To which she just immediately replied with a sneer in her nose. She looked me up and down and just said, "Yeah, well, you're not a doctor." And I was just like, "I will fucking knock you out."
You're not.
He was like, "Come on, you wouldn't do this to a doctor." He was, "Yeah, well, you're not a doctor." And I was like, "Oh, you motherfucker." And I think it's the first time and only time in my life that I've ever actually like just turned on my heel and walked away from a conversation.
No, you
just
did,
like,
you're not saying anything else.
my face went blank, and it was pure like, I'm either killing you or walking away. So I walked.
Yeah,
I was just
You made the
livid.
right call, mate.
I was
You made the right
livid.
call.
I don't
But
know.
yeah,
What's she called?
I can't remember. I was
Linda.
Yeah, Linda. Sort it out, Linda.
You muppet.
Jane, I think.
Jane.
You playing that?
Jane.
Jane.
Surname deleted. Yeah. She was in denial about the way she ate.
Shouts out to Fat Jane. Sort it out.
Shout out to Fat Jane.
You, Jane. In
Tubby
fact,
Jane.
I would never wish this on another person as a former obese person, but I hope you're dying of coronary heart disease.
The After Hours Podcast.
In reality, though, I'm quite a pleasant man.
Yeah, Josh is on the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, everybody.
Nice to have you here, mate.
Wherever you are in the world.
Introduced ourselves today.
Oh, shit.
Everyone knows who you are. How's it going, Ben? Are you well? What's happened this week?
Got a tattoo. That's pretty cool.
He got a tattoo, yes, yeah. It's a
Which
really
none of
nice
you can
tattoo,
see.
that. So he's got a giant wing on his arm.
I'm a wingman.
It's on the wrong bit of him, but
It's what?
it's on the wrong bit of him.
What do you mean?
You don't fly from your forearms, Ben.
I said to him, if
You
ever
don't fly from your forearm.
Afterlife, yeah.
Mate, have you seen the size of my forearms? I don't need to fly. I just move and the air gets out of the way.
Chuck Norris.
I like your tattoo though. I do like the tattoo.
Yeah, it's a good tattoo.
I'm glad you didn't get it in the place where people usually get it, where like they actually get it on their back, like they've got wings, and I'm like,
yeah, no.
wow, how much did your dad not love you
Yeah.
as a kid?
Yeah.
I have the shittest tattoo in the world. I've got 4 dots on my wrist.
No, I have. I've got junglist tattooed on my ankle.
You actually have. I remember you getting it done.
What's the story behind that,
What,
Jack?
have you got it on your knuckles?
No, just
ACAB?
on my wrist there, just under my bandana there, 'cause I'm a
right.
gangster. The story behind the 4 dots, and it's literally like, it is exactly the same. We didn't do this by design. It's exactly the spacing of a standard fork. So, listeners at home, if you just imagine getting some black ink on a fork and stabbing yourself in the wrist, that's what me and my older brother have on our wrists. So, Tom, my older brother, who's going travelling, he was going travelling at the time. I'm like 17 when he goes, so he's 19. He's 2 years older than me. And we're like, and we have this dumb idea for a tattoo. And he drew 3 dots on his wrist for no reason. And I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. And he was like, I might get it tattooed. And I was like, oh shit, do you remember that we've got 2 other brothers actually? And he was like, oh yeah, we do. And there's like, all right, there's 4 of us, make it 4 dots. So we drew that on, and I was like, oh, what if we get that tattooed? And then like, we're brothers.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's nice.
Because you need tattoos to be
it's a
brothers.
lovely
That's
story.
nice.
So we're like, yeah, let's go and get it done.
Wholesome fun.
But we didn't actually like each other.
Because you're brothers.
And then when one of us dies, I'm going to get that one crossed out. And when there's 3 crosses on it, I win.
Yes, mate.
That's a good way of looking at it, yeah.
Yeah, but I need them filling in though, because they kind of look like I've just been stabbed with a dark fork.
Yeah, man. But yeah, cool tattoo, Ben.
Yeah, sorry, Ben. I completely hijacked your story. Tell me more about your life.
Well, mine, I walked in and I was like, oh, can I get this, please? And he was like,
No, we're
Yeah,
done
right.
with the tattoos.
The After Hours Podcast.
We're getting Chinese.
Yeah, man.
Food. Let's talk
Let's
about food.
talk about food.
Let's
baby.
talk about food. This is something close to my heart.
Go on, Josh.
What am I going to order from the Chinese? Oh, this is where I'm going to struggle because...
He wants everything.
all right, little bit offensive.
Soz.
I don't have a menu, Jack, was my point. How could I possibly choose? See, this is the problem. This is the actual problem with society nowadays. Right, and I'm going to break it down for you. Do you remember menus?
yeah.
I do.
I haven't seen one for like at least days.
Have you looked?
Nah, don't look for them. What's the problem is, if you want to order a takeaway now, you don't speak to a person. You just get on your phone and you go bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop, bleep. Internet signals, send a message, and the food comes to your house.
Right.
It's awesome. That's the problem. We used to have problems. Now everything's too convenient. So what I want to see is a f***ing menu. I want to make a phone call with somebody who barely understands English, who can barely speak English, who I have to confirm several times what I want off the menu until the point where we just reduce ourselves to saying the number instead of the actual title. I want them to then get the order slightly wrong.
Yeah, you always need something.
I
wrong,
want
mate.
the food to be longer than they said it's going to be, but I want to feel too polite to complain about the fact when it arrives.
I'm British.
And to be honest with you, I want to do the whole thing on a landline.
This all sounds really good.
Very nostalgic. Very nostalgic. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Do it on a landline. If we've got a landline here.
No, mate.
Come on, let's do it. And we'll all sit around and we'll all f*** about.
But in reality,
Let's have a landline party.
landline party.
One of them.
What's that?
Everyone come around, bring your phones.
The After Hours Podcast.
You're not hench.
I
Your
am.
hair joke now.
In fact, now that I'm thinking
Who
of
said I'm hench?
now that I'm thinking about it though, only one of us here is. And I'm kind of disappointed in you guys. Like,
Now, Josh.
I haven't
where's
seen
this going, man?
I haven't seen any of you for like a few years, and none of you got hench.
That is true.
Statistically speaking, travesty.
It's fine, isn't it? You got hench later than we
You did it for all of us.
No, I didn't.
All of ours.
I did it for
When
myself.
did you get hench?
I did it for myself, Ben, and that's the whole point of self-improvement. It's not for anyone else. Read a book.
But you can't impose that on someone who just don't want to do it. Right?
But listen, I don't think you know this, but
what he does.
being muscular is my entire personality now. So it's all I know how to do, and I'm sorry. and if my external hypermasculinity doesn't fool you, then good.
I'm
'cause
drinking water, mate.
I'm
I'm
actually
healthy
dying
as
inside.
The After Hours Podcast.
Thanks for having me anyway, guys.
No worries, man.
It's good to be here.
Ah, it's good to have you.
It's good to be on
Thanks for coming on.
the after hours podcast with you guys.
Yeah, man.
That is the name.
Yep.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice one.
It's the only After Hours podcast as well. There's definitely not like 500 other podcasts out there called After Hours.
I googled it. Maybe we should call it, I don't know, like put a number in it. Like put a 4 in instead of an E or something.
Like after 4 hours. Podcast. After hours, but with a Z.
Call it, I've got the best idea. Call it the After 8 Hours podcast, right? Because we're going to talk for about 8 hours about nonsense, and then it'll get edited down for about 45 minutes. But instead of an 8, you do an infinity symbol, because like we're all connected, man.
That's deep, man.
Are your chakras aligned? Josh has got a few precious gems in his pocket.
Don't start me on precious gems, man.
Jack's a precious gem.
This one though that I trained a few years ago, she used to come into sessions, right, with this, like, you know, your standard plastic gym water bottle, right? But in the bottom of it, it can have what I can only describe as like a dildo shape, right, within this. It wasn't. It was like an icicle coming from the bottom of the bottle, and in this plastic icicle inside it was loads of different stones and gems and shit. And she was like, "Oh, I'm into witchcraft, man." I'm like, that's not a real thing, bro. She was like, "Oh yeah," and this like help, and she was pointing at the stones and telling me the various things that they did. Right, and she's drinking this water like it's getting enriched by these stones, not seeing the irony in the fact that there is a plastic wall separating these stones and her water, because I researched it afterwards because I'm a nerd. Some of those stones are toxic if you ingest them. What? And she's like, yeah, they don't actually need to be in the water to energize the water, but you can still get the positive ions. And in my head, I'm going, you don't know what ions are. What are you talking about?
Jesus.
These people, man, these crystal collecting, Reiki healing, incense burning, f***ing morons. They're all right people. I hate them for their belligerence. That's what I hate them for. I don't hate them. They're all really nice. Like, legitimately, everyone I know who's into balancing chakras and incense, they all have the best intentions. It's like you believe in nonsense. Yeah. Christians believe in more reasonable things than you do.
People get bored.
Like, Gwyneth Paltrow's like my personal vendetta at the moment with all this stuff. Why? Gwyneth Paltrow owns this website, right? It's called, I think it's called Iron Man's Wife.
Iron Man's Wife. Pepper Potts.
Well, let me tell you about how much of a knob she is. Gwyneth Paltrow owns a company called Goop. Or Bloop or something. So I'm fairly certain it's Goop, because she's like, we sell different kinds of goop, as in like moisturizers and conditioners and stuff.
All right, yeah, that makes sense.
They sell bonkers things, like one of these things, and everything's well expensive as well. They sell this one crystal that's like, it's just a white stone that they've polished and in the shape of like an oblong, and it's like a it's like a vaginal cleansing stone, right? But
stone?
But it's not even the point that it actually cleans your vagina. The stone cleans the energy in your vagina. Like it clears up your vagina's intentions.
That's gonna fuck with your pH levels.
And this thing, right? It's like it's
shove
this,
it up there.
It's essentially right. It's a butt plug, but you don't put it up your ass. You put it all the way in your vagina, so you have to fish it out later that day, and it like balances the positive energies of your sexual reproduction.
That sounds straight up dangerous.
And it is straight up dangerous. And this company's been sued a lot of times for like claiming bullshit things. And it's like this stone is like $175, and they sell like this one. It was f***ing amazing. I think it was an amino acid called arginine, right? And arginine is something. It's a subpar ingredient that was used in pre-workouts many years ago.
It sounds like your cousin
arginine. That's arginine coming around.
Arginine down there.
Yeah, so this stuff, it's a mild vasodilator, meaning that it opens your blood vessels a bit wider. So they used to use it in pre-workouts years ago. It's a subpar ingredient. You can literally buy 10 kilos of it for about 60 quid. It's not expensive, right? And she was selling this vitality product that was literally, I think it was like vitamin B3 in powder form, which was completely bio-unavailable because it was denatured, and arginine. Right, and it was like $90 for like a 15-day supply. And these people, these hippie women, are taking it, going, "Oh, this is balancing my blood energy and shit." And you go on the website, and every description of every product is just like, "Oh, this will make the fairies who live in your eyeballs think better about your nostrils." It's just absolutely just fucking gargantuan shite.
And she was endorsing
She has, yeah, she's not. She owns it, bro. She doesn't endorse. She runs the company. It was her idea. She's a militant vegan. She's one of these dickheads who thinks she can photosynthesize from the sun and shit. It's fucking bonkers, man. It's absolutely insane. And they're all like, "Oh, this is the way that I'm cleansing my body." And I'm like, why do you look like a heroin addict then? You know what I mean? It's just like, you're not cleansing your body. You what's the word now? Malnourished. Completely malnourished themselves. It's amazing, these women who live on supplements and shit. Like, I'm a big...
That whole f***ing Juice Plus thing and all this mad shit is stupid as
Juice.
and the thing is, it's hypocritical of me to say it doesn't f***ing work to go f***ing lose weight the normal way, because I'm a f***ing lazy twat. I don't go f***ing work out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it doesn't make you wrong.
Exactly.
If you want to lose weight, there are things you have to do. Taking f***ing Juice Plus is not one of them. Drinking aloe vera gel is not one of the things you need to do. There are certain things in your lifestyle you have to change. Like...
Stop eating so much.
As a former very overweight person, like I like to think I'm pretty much the authority on this. I do it for a job to help other people with it. 100%. And yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I have no problem with people being overweight. Do you? If you're really overweight, like that woman we were talking about before, who's 1,000,000 stone, like there's a problem. You got to do some shit there. But if you can just live your life and you like it and you don't hate it and you're happy, cool, nice one, more power to you. But if you want to lose weight, stop doing bullshit things.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you're thinking, like, you know, you're getting a little pissed off, Josh is pretty outspoken, in case you haven't noticed, but like what you just said then, like saying that you're like pretty qualified for this shit, like obviously this is an audio podcast, and if there is a visual, then we're gonna animate you as best as we can on paint.
You can
but
rip
this
in
guy,
an Instagram picture.
this guy is a success story of turning himself around body shape wise. Like, how heavy were you when I met you, do you reckon?
Well, I was 21 and a bit, so I'd recently lost about a stone when we first met, and I was 20 stone at that point. So I was 21 stone at my biggest. My waist got to 41 inches.
Big old boy.
I was a large boy. I was lucky in one aspect, and that's the way I carried it.
True, yeah.
The fat on my body was very evenly spread, to the point where my shoes are 2 sizes smaller now than they used to be. It was that evenly spread. I literally had fat feet, fat hands, the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? It didn't particularly gather
kind of look
in
like
one place.
A bit like gigantism, almost.
Yeah, just
You know what I mean?
large, just very, very large. So I was proportionally big, but a massive amount of it was body fat, and it took a massive lifestyle change for me to go, I need to stop abusing myself with food. I need to be more active. Like I already idolized bodybuilders and stuff, and I already lifted a bit of weights, you know, just bicep curls in my bedroom thing. But I was like, I need to actually do something. And one thing that me and anybody who has lost a significant amount of weight can all agree to: at no point could anybody else have convinced us to do it. Like, it happens. It happens when you want to do it. Like, I didn't want to lose weight. I was 21 stone and fine. And then one day I wasn't fine, and I was like, okay, let's do something about this. And it was a long process, because I didn't hire somebody like I am now, a personal trainer or a coach or anyone who knew what they were doing. So it was stabs in the dark. And the reason I get so mad about people doing this Juice Plus shit and this C9 cleanse from Forever Living and Herbalife, and sue me all you want because you lot are evil, it pisses me off, because I did them all. I did them all, and I spent the money, and I did the time, and I had the diarrhea, more importantly. People don't talk about this shit, and I'm here to talk about this shit. Any substance that you take that's like, melts body fat instantly. First of all, no, it fucking doesn't. And second of all, it's fucking with you in some way. Like, at the very least, they're dressed up caffeine pills, so it's going to with your circadian rhythms and your sleep if you're taking them in the afternoon and stuff. At the worst, you know, they load these things up with actual real life amphetamine sometimes, and it passes through the testing and all the rest of it, and they come up with new concepts and new ways of doing it, and they repackage the same bullshit ideas. There's no pill, no potion, no nothing that you can buy that will even help. And I'm sick of people saying, well, if you're in a calorie deficit and you take this product, then it will work. And it's like, no, if you're in a calorie deficit and take no product, it will still work. You just won't be stimulated as much with the hyper caffeine and stuff. So these diets piss me off, and they piss me off the most. What was the most recent one now? What's a fad, like a diet fad that's happened recently?
Don't know. Well, ketogenic, that works, doesn't it?
I will tell you why in a moment why keto works, and I have used keto to lose weight to great success before. Ooh. I'm a big believer in it. But I will tell you why it works in a moment. It'll tie into what I'm about to say. Celery juice is the most recent one. That's what I was trying to think of before.
I've heard about that, yeah.
Celery juice, right? What's your... let's just around the room, everyone. What's your interpretation of celery, Ben?
It's a vegetable, isn't it?
It is one of those.
Yeah.
Nice one. Jack, what do you think about celery?
It's a green vegetable.
It's green,
Yes.
and as
That's
Ben's
still my
already
one.
stated,
I
it's a
don't
vegetable.
imagine
Well,
it'd be
he's
very
added
good.
to it. It's
I don't
green.
imagine it'd be very good in juice form, though. I don't
Cool.
think it'd be good to
But
juice
like-
it. The water content might be a bit low.
The content.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
crunchy, innit?
the water
Bit
content is
crunchy.
actually quite high. It is very, very high in the thing.
It's
But
apparently minus calories as well.
if you were
isn't it?
to, I mean, there was that, allegedly because of the
Yeah.
very, very little calories within it, it takes more energy to chew and digest it.
Oh, so there is such thing as minus
It
calories.
is.
That's mad.
It's potentially true. It's not minus calories. It contains
No,
a
but I get
certain
that.
number of calories, and you are going to expel more energy digesting it, primarily in your digestion, because your digestion takes a lot of energy. But
Right.
that's heavily debated whether or not that's even true. When you think of celery, is it magical? Is it when your mum used to bring out celery? Was it like, oh shit, yeah? Do you know what I mean? Celery is what fat people chew on, because they can't be chewing on cake like they used to be. That's essentially what celery is, yeah? That's everybody's knowledge of celery. No one buys celery to go, I fancy a bit of celery tonight. Mostly it's people dieting going, I need something to chew that's crunchy, and that's that. So some has taken celery and blended it, right? And removed all of the dry particulate matter, all the fibre, the cellulose, all this stuff. So you're just left with celery juice. Right. Now, all food contains salt, but celery apparently contains cluster salts, which are not a real thing. And if you blend it, that breaks the cluster salts down and makes them very, very beneficial for your body. So much beneficial that it shrinks tumours just by drinking it.
Oh, of course
and it's
it does.
very, very healing, and it balances all of your hormones.
Wow.
And it will make you lose massive amounts of weight.
Is it just water?
Now, there's just one thing that you have to make sure that you do to make the celery juice work. You know how we're drinking a bit of beer? What you need to do, first of all, is completely stop doing that, because otherwise the celery juice won't work, right? And if you're eating any junk foods and stuff, what you need to do is completely stop doing that, or the celery juice won't work. So you have if you cut out every unhealthy thing that you do and drink celery juice, your health will improve, because celery juice
But
is
only if you have a juice.
literally magical. Or it was all of the things that you cut out of your diet, as in all of the f***ing food and drink that you used to have, that you replaced with nothing in the form of celery juice, that made you lose massive amounts of weight because you stopped f***ing eating for a week. And people do it and go, it's amazing, I haven't had a migraine in weeks. It's like, because you used to drink a bottle of wine every f***ing night, Stephanie.
Damn it, Steph.
Oh, it's amazing. I've lost 2 stone in 2 months. It's like, yeah, you've consumed 0 calories in 2 months. What the f*** are you doing? You're dying. Everybody's worried about you. And this is why keto works.
Go join Jane in the corner.
Because every single weight loss diet in the world that works for one reason and one reason only. Calories in versus calories out. It's all it's ever come down to. If you consume more calories, there will be more of you. If you consume less calories, there will be less of you, okay? Everybody's number is different, everybody's activity level is different, but it comes down to one basic fundamental science. So when you do keto, what is your diet like?
It's high fat, low carb, isn't it?
High fat, low carb. High protein as well, because you're eating a lot of meat, a lot of cheese. Nice one. So, protein, carbs, and fats. Which one of those don't you eat?
Carbs.
Yeah. So you've taken out 1/3 of your nutritional intake, which will equate to 1/3 of your nutritional calories, which will equate to you losing weight.
A third, yeah.
If you're in any kind of decent calorie deficit or a starved state, ketosis will happen. Ketosis is what happens when your body starts having to use fat tissue. So if you're in a calorie deficit, you release more ketones anyway. If you don't eat at all, you release massive amounts of ketones, because your body purely then is only working off your body fat.
Right.
keto and starving yourself are not particularly different. There is nothing scientifically wrong with short-term starvation, as in 2 to 3 days at a time, just not eating at all. It's not nice. I've done it. It
What about
works.
intermittent fasting?
Well, that's what that is.
work?
That's an extreme version of that. The only reason it works, again, is because if you're only eating for 8 hours in a day and you used to eat for 16 hours a day, then just intrinsically you're eating less now. It's not because you've got a longer period of time to burn fat that day. And there's all these things that, you know, these pills that come out of like, puts you straight into ketosis. And I'm like, not if you've eaten sugar, it doesn't.
So, for example, if you're having you're normally having a steak and cheese sandwich, you just have the steak and cheese. So the bread's missing.
Eating steak and cheese doesn't magically make you lose weight.
No, it's the fact that you're missing.
But you've taken a large amount of the food that you were eating away. So now there is one discrepancy.
I was going to say, in case you make up for it and just have more meat and more cheese to make up for the fact that you haven't got the pasta or the whatever.
Do that. Suddenly they're like, well, I can eat as much meat and cheese as I want, so they do keto. They don't lose any weight, and they go, keto's a load of bullshit. It says you can eat as much meat and cheese as you want, but some people like me have ridiculous appetites where we never feel full. We can just keep fucking eating forever. So it's very easy for us to eat 6, 7, 8, 10,000 calories a day. Do you know what I mean? Of whatever kind of food it is, unless it's like small amounts of veg or whatever. So those people don't lose weight, and people go, see, keto's bollocks. My mate did keto and he gained weight. Oh, it's fucking bad for you. Keto's dead bad for you.
7
but he was eating a
steaks
stupid amount of food in the day. Now, the one discrepancy is if you do a very high protein diet, regardless of what kind of protocol you're doing, when you eat protein, stop me if this is boring. I don't know if this is relevant to the podcast.
It's cool. It's good.
When you eat any food, you get a discount off that food in terms of the energy it takes to digest that food. So sugar, which is its own form of carb, a very, very simple carbohydrate, takes 0% of the calories within that sugar to digest that sugar. Sugar goes in, it dissolves in the water, it goes through your intestinal lining, job done. Right? So you get it into your bloodstream, you've got that energy straight away. You're taking 100 calories of sugar, you've got 100 calories in your bloodstream, in your body, ready to go to be used for energy. If you digest 100 calories of fats, you get about 5% of those calories, so you get 95 calories in your body after digestion. And with more complex carbohydrates like your breads, your brown bread, your whole grains and all the rest of it, I think it's like a 7% or something discount, so you're getting 93. With protein, it's 20 to 30% depending on the protein source. It takes a lot of energy to break protein down. So if you take in 1,000 calories of pure protein, which is hard to do because a lot of proteins have fat and all the rest of it with them, but if you were to take in 1,000 calories of pure protein, your body's functional need would only really actually see between 700 and 800 calories of that protein. So suddenly, if you're eating a very high protein diet, the amount of energy it's taking to digest your food is much more than it was before because you're eating loads more protein. So you can now technically eat at a calorie surplus, but the amount of energy that it takes to burn that protein will take you into a calorie deficit, and now you lose weight. Even though you're eating technically more calories than you were before.
If someone was to live like this as a lifestyle, say like someone who only ate meat and dairy products, they're going to be pretty underweight. That's my diet,
absolutely.
And that kind of like what you said there has kind of explained it. I've gone, oh right,
very much,
it takes
and that's
so
why
much
you
energy
struggle to overeat.
Because I eat loads, but I eat loads of meat.
And I lived with you for a while, and I can contest if you do eat a load of meat and a load of cheese, but you don't really have that much of a varied diet.
No, I don't.
There's not a massive amount.
A little
wrong
better
with
than when I lived with you, I think, because I've grown up a
I
little bit.
I hope so. It was a bit bad, but it was more like the processed shit you ate. But you know, I've done the carnivore diet before. I spent 31 days. I ate nothing but steak. Literally just red meat.
That sounds amazing.
And it was awesome. And I lost loads and loads of weight. My energy was awesome. Everything felt great. My digestion was amazing. I did it to prove a point to vegans, basically, that yes, you can be 100% healthy on just a meat-based diet. There are people that have been doing it for 10, 15. I think there's a woman who's been doing it for 37 years. She's 50-odd. She looks incredible. She looks 30. Wow. It's nuts. So there's a lot to be said for the ketogenic diet. But in terms of pure weight loss, which is what it's generally spoken about like, there is nothing you can do unless you're in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Do you know what I mean?
It has to be that.
Some people, you get these really, really overweight people, your 30 plus stoners who are eating, you need to eat a minimum of about 7,500 calories a day to maintain that weight. If you're lying down all day just to be that size, you have to take in a ridiculous amount of food, more than I eat, and I eat a lot, and I have to force feed some of my meals because I feel sick. And I can eat, man, I can really eat, and even sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't finish this, but sometimes I force it down because I need to. So these people eat stupid amounts of food, so they're eating 7,000 to 8,000 calories a day, and then like,
I'm going to start exercising. So they go down to the local swimming pool and they walk in the pool 10 times and they go home. Now, I'm not disparaging it. Well done. Do you know what I mean? At that size, to even do that, fantastic. And that amount of exercise is going to take its toll on your joints. Go and rest up and all the rest of it. But that's not going to make you lose weight because you probably burnt 200 calories there and you're overeating by 5,000.
And probably ate after it as well, innit?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And most people, most like in denial overweight people, and I used to be this guy, would be like, well, I went to the gym today so I can have 2 McDonald's and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what a lot of overweight people do is in this denial thing. Because in one of my workouts, now I work out hard currently. I'm working out for 2.5 hours at a time, 4 or 5 times a week. It's taking a toll on my body. I'm working so hard, I'm literally having to drink sugar water to stop me from going hypoglycemic during a session. I probably burn 400 calories during one of those workouts.
What? That doesn't sound like a lot.
It's not, because working out doesn't burn the amount of calories that people say it does.
No,
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you run hard for an hour, like hard, constant movement. Most of my sessions are spent sitting down recovering from lifting heavy weights.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You still burn energy in those moments, but not nearly as much. But if you run hard for an hour, you burn 700-ish, depending on your body size and all the rest of it.
So is that why you say there's no point in...
There's no point
to work out unless you like lifting weights and body muscle?
If you're not changing... Well, not even that. I'm not saying that. If you're not changing your diet, there's no point exercising.
Yeah,
not there's no point
got to be a mix
exercising.
of both.
But if you want to lose it, there's always point exercising. Everybody should exercise, no matter what weight and size you are. You need to take care of your heart and lungs. So do exercise. It's good for you. It's good for your muscle tone. It's really, really good for your joints. It's going to prevent all sorts of problems.
Would you say diet's more important?
Diet for weight loss or health?
Both.
It depends. If you're overeating by a lot of calories from good whole foods, then exercise will keep you healthy-ish. If you're overeating a lot of calories from pure processed shit, then you need to really change. But taking it into a weight loss point of view, which, let's be honest, is what most people care about, and so many people come to me in the gym and they say, oh, I want to do it for my health, I want to do it for my kids. No, it's that you want to weigh less, you want to be thinner, you want to feel better in your body. Let's call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. It's not because you want to some self-righteous path of victory. Is because you don't like the way you look, and you want to be smaller, and that's why people lose weight. So that's what people are really talking about. So what's more important between diet and exercise? Exercise is not important at all for weight loss, at all.
Wow.
There we go.
I will straight up say that now. Like, people, there's the old adage, and bear in mind, I have a career based in this. Like, my whole career is based in teaching people to exercise and guiding them with their nutrition and stuff. Exercise helps. Now here's what I'll say. Exercise will make you look good. If you only diet and you do it properly and you lose all your body fat at the rate that you want to and you get to a low body fat percentage, we've all seen pictures of anorexics, that's what you look like with only diet. Like, not quite so dramatic, but when you just diet and you lose all that body fat, your body is then going to go into overdrive and go, we really don't want to get rid of this body fat because we don't know how much longer we're going to need it for. There might never be food again because you're starving yourself. We're not using our muscles because you're not exercising, so then it starts breaking your muscle tissue down and using that for energy, and that's where you start atrophying your muscles.
Hell, shit, I didn't know that.
So, how do you think people get smaller? Like, hench dudes
That's
don't
why it
stay hench
happens.
forever. They stop training and their muscles shrink over time because their body starts eating their muscle tissue for energy, because they have to do the same thing as an overweight person and go into a calorie deficit to lose weight.
Like
but
when
they're
you see
losing
like
muscle
old
tissue.
bodybuilders and shit that look a bit f***ing rough and that.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but that's why they're smaller, is because their body has digested and eaten and broken down that muscle tissue. So if you don't use those muscles, you don't tell your body that they're required. So your body goes, right, we'll eat them first. And that's how people end up skinny fat when they just diet, because they lose muscle at the same rate they lose body fat. So it looks like they've got more fat than they do because they don't have any muscle filling the space.
Right.
So that's why exercise is important. But in pure numbers terms, and anyone who's listening to this, and I genuinely do want to help by saying this, in pure numbers terms, if you are overweight and you need to change something about your life, exercise will not help you to start with. Like, you need to stop putting the things in your mouth that you're putting in your mouth, and in order to do that, there's a lot of lifestyle changes that need to happen. And this is going to get deep and serious for a second, but weight loss on paper, particularly fat loss, and particularly because it's so like needed in the modern age, I think, with how overweight a lot of people are getting, it's the easiest thing in the world on paper.
numbers wise. It's incredible. It's literally just that stuff you put in your mouth, stop doing that, and that sitting around you're doing, stop doing that. It's 100% the formula. What is difficult, and what I intrinsically understand about this, what is difficult about that is all of the emotional reasons why people put the things in their mouths that they do, and all the societal reasons why we do, and all the, you know, intrinsic demons that we've all got that make us do these things. And
Because they'll have to deal with it if they're not putting stuff in their
that's
mouth.
the difficult part to address, yeah. And that's why when people say, oh, you don't understand how hard it is to lose weight, and people who've never really been overweight and lost the weight, they'll be like, well, how hard is it? You just eat less. What's wrong with you? But the reason whatever woman it is that's eating less is because her husband beats her.
A lot of
Do you know what I mean?
factors
There's
included
something
in it.
as deep as that. Or, you know, maybe somebody's dad told them that they were fat as a baby, so they never ate anything when they were a kid, and then when they were finally out on their own, then they couldn't stop eating to get back at their dad. Do you know what I mean? Whatever issues it is that they've got, whatever deep issues it is. So that we've got this culture now of where it's like, well, weight loss is simple. Eat less, move more. It's like, that's true, but it's really f***ing unhelpful. Because people who really, and I'm talking about people who really need to lose weight, like the ones who are dying because of it. You know, you got people's legs coming off, you got people just dying in the night because they're fat. These people really need to address these problems, because there's nobody on earth who's eating 10, 15, 20,000 calories a day regularly on the daily who doesn't have something mentally very wrong with them. And that needs addressing more. And we keep going on about how do we address the obesity epidemic in the world, and it's like, well, address the problem.
Education,
Exactly. But it's not even education, because they keep saying like, we need to get in schools and we need to tell them about ketogenic diets, we need to tell them about calories. It's like, you need to understand why so many people are abusing themselves in the way they are. Because it runs deeper than the obesity epidemic. It's the drugs epidemic, and it's the alcoholic epidemic, and it's so many things, and it's depression, and it's mental health in general. And it's looking at why people are turning to these things to make themselves feel better, and what's wrong with society nowadays. Because you go back 100 years, there were no obese people. There were way less drug addicts. There was way less prevalence of depression.
Yeah, it's crazy times now.
There was well more mania. Do you know what I mean? Because people were prescribed things like lithium for a cold, and it them off.
But I think it comes down to modern time. Technology's with us, man. Like social media, things like that. Everyone's even in our lifetime. When we were kids, the only thing that anyone was asked about was like the news from what Linda was up to down the street 2 doors away. Now we know every single problem in the world because it's at the, you know what I mean. It's just there, and it's people up, man. It's people up.
Well, back in like medieval times, there wasn't as many fat people because they weren't as upset, because for them getting through the day was a win.
I mean, it's a little bit more difficult as well. It's a little bit more difficult than that as well, because we have like so much access to stupidly high calorie dense foods. Like,
oh mate, it's ridiculous.
You go back to medieval times.
It's pushed.
It's mental.
What's the most advertised food product you can think of right now, without fail? McDonald's, obviously, right? Do you know what I mean? And like, next one, do you know what I mean? What we got? KFC, something like that. Like, there ain't any.
You walk down any high street nowadays, and there's 9 takeaways, and all of them are selling a different version of deep fried carbohydrates.
Exactly.
Which, just nutritionally speaking, is never a good idea. No. And you're not wrong.
It's so easy as well.
And that's the problem. It's so easy, because people who are proponents of the carnivore diet and stuff, like I was talking about with the meat only diet, they say stuff like, well, people back in the day used to eat meat all the time because someone would go out and hunt like an elk, and they'd bring it back and it'd feed the village for a day, and then they'd hunt another elk and all the rest of it. And it's like, yeah, they ate high calorie, high fat foods like the elk and all the rest of it. I don't think elk is actually high fat, but whatever.
Joe Rogan eats elk.
He does eat elk. That's why I said it. I was thinking of my boy Joe.
Shouts out Joe.
Shouts out Joe Rogan, yo.
Our podcast is better, but
yeah, you know. Keep trying, Joe. You'll be like us one day.
One day you'll be here.
Put the f***ing effort in once and get some decent guests on like me, and you'll
Josh
get
looks
there.
like Joe Rogan a bit, doesn't he?
Okay, yeah, all white bald men look the same. Yeah.
Nah, Josh is bigger than Joe.
You do genuinely resemble a bit Joe Rogan. Oh, look, he's blushing.
He's a lot hencher than Joe, and I'd imagine a lot taller.
I think Joe's about 5 now.
That's what I mean.
Mix Joe Rogan with like the Hulk, and then that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah.
Oh, he proper loves that, doesn't he?
Hulk Rogan.
Oh.
Yeah, you cheered him up.
Listen.
Oh, he's got such a smile on his face. I love it.
I wasn't kidding. Being hench is my personality. Like, I'm not even like.
You got yourself.
People see me and they're like, "Oh, I bet you just like well into the gym, aren't you?" Just like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I am, mate.
But you could make them cry.
The After Hours Podcast.
Check it out, y'all.
All right, so you're moving on from personal trainer now. You're entering into strongman.
I'm still a personal trainer.
Yeah, but you're stepping up and you're now actually like entering strongman competitions. I think you've competed.
I did one. I came second place by half a point, and I was devastated. Yeah.
Big ups, man. So your first ever competition, you came second. It was a good
experience. I loved it.
Now, I used to watch World's Strongest Man as a kid, and I loved that shit.
That's what I want to do.
I've never worked out. I'm a skinny boy. I'm not down, but I love that shit, and that's interesting, man.
Yeah, man.
Because it's like it's taking it to the top, innit?
I love it. Yeah. So I started, and I never really did heavy training because I injured my back deadlifting years ago, and I was scared of it because of that.
Because you were self-trained, so you got things wrong.
Yeah, I got a lot of things wrong in the start of my
learned the fucking hard way, like.
Exactly, and now I help others not learn the hard way. But I injured my back really badly, and I tore a part of a muscle called the QL, which I've actually injured again now, but on the other side of my spine. Not the tail, though, thankfully. Deadlifting, so I was scared of them, so I didn't do them forever. So I literally didn't deadlift over 140 kilos for 4 years. And then recently, literally as recently as this summer just gone, I was like, I want to get involved with this strength stuff. I've seen this competition, I'll give it a go, see what I can do. So I started deadlifting, and the deadlift event in the show was 160 kilos for as many reps as you can do in a minute, and I popped out 18, and I was like, holy shit, I think I'm actually like, I'm all right with this. So I lost the fear with the heavy stuff, so now I'm doing the heavy training, and it's sick. It's the best thing I've ever done.
What's that frame thing called? The 400 key one.
The yoke.
That's it. The
yoke. 430 kilo yoke.
What was it? 430.
My record now is 430. Yeah.
430 kilos.
Yeah. So you stand under this yoke.
It's like a big frame or something. Have
you
seen
it's just a metal frame thing that you stand under, and all the weights go on the bottom, and you stand it up, and it rises about 5-6 inches off the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just stand there and hold it.
It looks uncomfortable.
I stand there and hold it for 10 seconds, and like, what's insane is the type of people that I want to be up there with are like your Eddie Hall and stuff, who's done the 500 kilo deadlift and stuff like that. Stupid weights getting lifted. Brian Shaw stood up this yoke thing with over 700 kilos on it and walked 10 paces. And when I did 430, in fact, when I did the 410, it shocked me more. But holding that weight up for 10 seconds, I honestly thought I was going to die. Like, not even being dramatic. Like, I genuinely thought when I put this weight down, my blood pressure is going to drop so quickly that I'm going to collapse and f***ing die. Like, it made me sort of see things and feel things. It was bonkers. And when I put it down and I didn't die, the adrenaline was just nuts. And I was like, holy shit, yes, this is what I want to do.
See, right, this has never been explained to me before. This makes so much sense.
So this is why heavy lifting is so addictive.
Rush, innit? Yeah.
So
like literally, this is like
and this is what people don't talk about. Trip. Nobody talks about
exactly.
the
I've never
mental
known that.
side, the mental health.
I see the
benefit.
pain, and I think, all right, you're the best and you're the strongest, but that looks so
and it
unrewarding. But this sounds amazing
incredible.
how you're describing it, bro.
Yeah, and it feels incredible to do it in training. You know what I mean? And it's literally it's the most fundamental, basic thing you can do is withstand a force. And the beautiful thing about it, and the reason I'm so into lifting in general, is because when you lift weights, you put pressure on your nervous system. When you deliberately put pressure on your nervous system gets better at handling pressure, whatever that pressure is. So whether it's depression from day-to-day life or stress from your job or relationship problems and whatever, your nervous system can physically handle those pressures better because of what you've done in the gym.
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, exercise is really good for your mental health, you should do it. Yeah, but why is it good for your mental health? And when you actually explain that to people, that's why, is because it makes you actually physically and mentally better in every sense, in every essence of the word.
Releases chemicals, I'd imagine, that make you feel better.
Exactly, and when you lift weights on purpose, you stimulate your fight or flight response just like on purpose, so that happens. When you do that on purpose, your body can learn from it. But when you're just constantly stressed, that fight or flight response is just always there, and it breaks down your nervous system. It does the opposite thing. So when you deliberately put yourself under stress, you grow and you become stronger. But when you're constantly under stress from life, you become weaker. So that's why like physical training and strength training in particular, you know, the old debate of like, what's better, cardio or weight training? Like, well, in reality, it all burns calories. So whatever you want to do if weight loss is your goal. But in terms of your mental health, there's nothing better for a person to do than strength training, because it does things to your actual nervous system, not just your muscles. And most people think it's
you're training your brain as well,
big time, hugely, especially with the heavy shit, with the really, really heavy shit, the stuff that's like, I have never picked up this much weight before. and I don't know if I can do it. And when you do it, there's such a rush of endorphins and such a like celebration within your body that it's like, that was worth it. Like I'll say to this day, and I'll always say my whole career, I hate doing deadlifts, hate them, hate every single rep that I do, but I absolutely love them when I put the final one down. So literally my whole deadlift set, I'll be doing like 5 sets of 3 at 220 kilos or whatever, and I'll be repping and I'm just sitting there in a bad mood, resting 5 minutes and then going again, sitting there in a bad mood. And when I put that final one down, I'm in the best mood I've been in all year. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a relief of like, oh, thank f*** I don't have to do that anymore. It's like, hell yes, that was something I really, 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 really didn't want to do, and I did all of it, and I did it the best I could, and that's the reward that I get from that. And I think that's what most people are missing in their lives is
that positive.
I really don't want to do this thing. I know it'll be better when I do. You know, on a basic level for me, it's I'm stronger. But with most people's lives, you know, they've got a hard conversation with a loved one that they need to have or something. And that thing, they're like, I need to do this, I need to do this. I know it's a thing that I want to do. And they don't do it. Like, I think the greatest reward comes from doing the thing that, like, chasing discomfort more than anything. I think if you're like, if there's something you know you should do, and you're deliberately not doing it because you think it's going to feel bad, then there's all the more reason to do it. Because the after side of that is going to be you're feeling better. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to feel really uncomfortable. It's going to be horrible doing the thing. You're not going to like a single second of it, but when it's done, then you've progressed and you've become better and hopefully had a good impact on the world and stuff.
Yeah, well.
So that's why.
Pick the up. That's a good, really good way of thinking about it, man.
Yeah, seek discomfort.
Seek discomfort.
Not every day, not in everything that you do, but when you need to, do it on purpose. And then when it comes, which it will, when it comes by accident, you'll be better ready. You'll be better prepared, yeah. So that's why, when I said before, why are you not hench? It's because I'm worried about your mental health.
Oh.
No, I'm totally kidding.
Nice circle back though, bro.
The level that I'm doing it at, this is honestly the thing that I will say about it. The level that I'm doing at is, to most people's standards, pretty elite. To my standards, it's very, very novice. I wouldn't even call it amateur at this point. But for most people, the type of stuff I do and deliberately put myself through is loads. And, you know, they see people like me and go, oh, you think everyone should do that and you think everyone should be lifted? And no, I do not. I definitely don't think it takes a special kind of maniac to want to do the things that I do. I do think everyone should exercise, though. I don't care if you're walking about town. Do you know what I mean? I don't care if you're cycling. I don't care if you're swimming. I don't particularly care if it's golf. Just try and
just
walk
don't sit
between
on your
the
ass
holes.
all day. It's simple as that, isn't
Use it or lose it. That's what I'll say. And I don't mean your body. Like, use your body or you'll lose your mind. That's what I'll really say. Doesn't have to be super strenuous. You know, it's like, well, some people don't want to go to the gym. So fine, don't go to the gym. You know what I mean? Some people have got arthritis and they can't exercise. Well, the best thing for someone with arthritis to do is f***ing exercise. So it hurts, but go and do it. Suck it up. Seek discomfort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The After Hours Podcast.
Ryan's
Hey!
Ryan!
Big dog.
Ryan!
How's he doing, man? I've seen you in like all of the years.
Alright, I haven't seen you in all of the same amount of years. Alright, Ryan's here, let's get weird.
Yeah, man.
I'll get in on that.
We've got one Singapore vermicelli dry, £6.20. Salt and pepper chips small, £3. Salt and pepper chicken, £5. 1 times roast duck chow mein and sauces, £6.40. House special fried rice and sauce, who's that?
Fried rice, that's me. How much is that?
£6.40. Egg fried rice small, who's that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have that with my beef.
£2.10. Crispy spring roll.
Spring rolls are mine as well.
£3.60. £43.30. Have we all got cash?
Big Dog doesn't eat duck.
Cash, yeah.
I was in Australia in my past, and I was with a good friend of mine, Jordan Frey. Rest in peace, he's not dead. And we walked past the Chinese. We lived in like Chinatown at the time, and we walked past.
Oh
this
my
window.
God, Ryan, shut up! You've just gone on for this whole podcast.
Bro.
Unbelievable. I might leave.
Just to let
to
you know.
preface, I've hijacked the whole thing.
Now, the only person in the room who could actually beat the shit out of Josh has just walked in. He's invisible.
So the dynamic has changed, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
The big dog is home.
Don't stand up. Now I'm intimidated. Don't sit forward.
No. Carry on though. Australia. I'm genuinely
we walked
interested.
past a Chinese restaurant. I'm sure it was lovely. And my mate went, "What's with them weird chickens with the f***ed up necks?" And I went, "Yeah, they're ducks, mate. That's what's up with them." And he was like, "Oh right, you see everything in Australia." He didn't say that, but I added that to the story. It makes it sound better.
Pause the recording. There will be no more comedy until I come back.
The After Hours Podcast.
Alright, bang, back in. We have just reviewed. Jack, what have we reviewed?
We've just had a Chinese,
We've had a Chinese.
as you can tell by my droney voice.
Oh, yeah. We've had a lovely Chinese. We're all melted to the sofa. Where'd we go?
Chinese Express Eccles.
Chinese Express in Eccles. It was, I'm going to say, reasonable. Jack, how was your Chinese dining experience this
It was
evening?
reasonable. It was okay. It was a nice Chinese. It was just okay tasting.
Yeah? What did you get?
Half rice, half chips, curry sauce, and salt and pepper chicken.
Sick.
All of which is good.
Ben, what did you get?
I got some duck and noodles.
Duck and noodle. Sounds like a dance move, doesn't it? Like bust a duck and noodle. What word springs to mind from the meal that you just eaten? One word. Summarise it. Come on, hit me with it. Don't think too hard.
Wait, the word duck, but like said like duck. Like,
Duck. I like that. I like that. Pretty sick. That's pretty sick. Our handsome guests this evening. What'd you get?
I got salt and pepper. I nearly said sweet and sour chips. I got salt and pepper chips. I got 4 fairly sizable spring rolls, so points for that. And I got the house special. I can't even remember what it's called now. Fried rice. I forgot fried rice.
Special fried rice.
The special fried rice. The house special. It was called.
Yeah, man. One word to summarise.
Anticlimactic.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ryan?
I had Singapore vermicelli.
That sounds Italian or something. Vermicelli. Yeah,
But it's like noodles with everything and spicy, so it's really good. So I had loads of meat in it. For one word for it, it was great, but my word would be process. I ate it and it went well.
And now you won't die as a result.
it was a process. All right,
Hopefully it will exit.
So it was a necessary
with no turmoil.
faction of your life that you just.
Yeah, and it went as I wanted it to. You know, there was zero resistance.
I don't get the feeling that you view food as particularly pleasurable or not.
I love food, but it's hard to get excited about takeaway. But it was great.
I know what you mean.
was just like it was like I ate it and I'm like, yeah.
Now I have eaten food.
That was good.
Yeah.
What do you rate it, Ryan?
Out of 10.
Are we going round already?
2 out of 10. Go.
Out of 10.
Come on.
I wonder what he's going to do.
Solid 4, isn't it?
Solid 4. A 4 from Ryan. Out of 10, Jack.
I said 10 before, but 8 Morgan Freeman's.
8. 8. Ben?
I got 8 as well.
8.
Good deal.
Josh?
6 because of that rice, man. It was boring.
Yeah. I'm going to say 6. I got beef and black bean. It was not the best.
Or around 7 then?
What do you think?
I mean, I prefer 6 because it's the number I chose.
I think it's the closest we've agreed.
We'll go for 7 points.
We've all been pretty much around the same 3 numbers.
Yeah. 7? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Keep forgetting. Like I'm not here.
Chinese Express.
Chinese Express Eccles After Hours Podcast give you 7 out of 10. Keep up the good work. Woo. Room for improvement. Safe. Nice one.
That's all for tonight.
The After Hours Podcast.
Josh, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down and taking over.
Thank you for giving me your show and leaving
No worries.
after this episode, so it's mine.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me. It's been awesome. Thanks for letting me ramble shit.
No
I
worries.
hope you edit me to sound more eloquent than I am.
I doubt it.
No, me as well.
But yeah. Safe, man.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Ryan.
Very welcome.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Shame
I
Owen couldn't make
believe
it.
Owen is involved in these things, but thanks to him for being involved and creating this and what it is. Thank you to Disco John for not
just being himself, really.
Just him. He sounds all right from what I've heard. You're pretty good as well, Dominic.
Thanks, man.
Dominic, for doing this.
I try my best.
Believe in yourself is all I can say to you, mate.
Thanks, man.
That's all I can ever say to anyone because I've got Tourette's.
It's a positive message to outro on.
The After Hours Podcast.
I'm going to do a story.
You want to do one?
Yeah, you want to do one, Ben?
Talk about the story.
Go on, you start.
Me? What do I do about anything? Can we do a deep South Texas one, please?
Gonna go weird.
The only thing you
out
can
of the
do.
box.
We did Noir and Pirates, so something else.
So we're doing Texas?
We're not doing Texas.
Why not?
You're the only one who says Texas.
I want to do Texas. I want to do it. I'll do it good now. I throw truckers.
Why don't we do a guy on the road, trucker?
I just f***ing said that.
What if he's from Texas?
A trucker, yeah, a trucker on the road.
What's anyone saying?
He's on the road to the story.
That's a good idea.
That could be something.
You think I'm going somewhere?
How do you come up with these things, right?
Don't know, man. It's like lightning has struck my brain.
Let's do a trucker. Come on. Wait. Can we be animals, but we all different accents?
Deep in the Amazonian jungle, there is a story to tell, and we're about to tell it. So strap yourselves in, listeners, as we tell you the story of the jungle, starting with this young armadillo named
Terrence.
Terrence the armadillo was strolling through the jungle one morning when he came across a giant crocodile. He thought to himself, what do I do now?
Damn crocodile. What don't you damn crocodile over there? Hey, crocodile, get out of my way. He can't hear me. I can't hear me too. Partially deaf in one ear. So I rolled myself up into a ball and rolled on out of there. I went to see the squirrels. They're looking for me, they live upon a tree. They're looking for me again, I can't climb trees. The squirrels have set up a little mechanism device so I can get myself on up under that tree now, boy. Me and squirrels have a pact since the days of old. The ceasefire, the great wars of the lawnmowers, years ago. The pact keeps us all safe. I go up there to them squirrels and say, hey, damn girl, them damn crocodiles out again. This goes, I didn't know about that damn crocodile, boy. I done seen them over yonder there. I bet the treaty on it.
No need to do that.
So I reached over and opened the door. Stood in front of me was a familiar face. A face I longed to see. In all my life. It was a monkey.
You alright?
Oh. But, hey, is that really you I'm seeing with my own two eyes?
Hey, Terrence, how you doing, mate? You alright?
How are you, Peppy?
Guess what I just saw?
What did you see now, man?
I saw a crocodile going ape shit.
I was saying now, man.
They're getting ready for war, you know.
So the squirrels?
No, the crocodile.
Crocodiles and the squirrels?
I don't know.
I don't trust either of them beady-eyed motherfuckers.
He came up to me, this crocodile, right? And he was like, my boys are going to get you. And I was like, no, they're not. And I went, don't get snappy with me. Wink. Get it? Crocodile.
Yeah, man.
You know what? That's actually quite true. He did say, don't get snappy.
In it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well done, man. Go tell him.
This crocodile was giving it all this. Hang on, let me get my hand free.
Giving it
all this. Cracking his jaw back and forth he was. And then he said, we're going to start a war. And I was like, what about this treaty we got going on? There's a pact. It's been, how long? Years? Yeah, I'd say years, wouldn't you?
It's been years, mate. Yeah, years.
They're going to break it, basically. They say we have 3 days to prepare. And then crocodiles and the other more evil-looking jungle animals are going to go sick on us.
Sick, mate.
So I thought, where's the most power, the engineering skill in the jungle? Squirrels. And I bumped into you.
Who's got the nuts?
Jimmy the hype man. I'll tell you what, earlier, Jimmy, he nearly wasn't my hype man after I had a run-in with a wolf. Tell him the story, Jimmy.
Oh, let me tell you a story. I'll tell you a story. Yeah. There I was, in the jungle.
Classic.
A couple of chances about me and eyes. There I am, seeing wolves come at me, grass asunder as violent razors of nature.
Yep.
But I take no notice, of course. I'm swinging through the trees. Or am I running, sir, on the floor like a wolf? I don't even know. Not at this stage. No.
I didn't know.
I'm not sure. Why you talking all weird, boy?
Let me tell you about it. So you're a crocodile and you're chilling, yeah? Or you've seen a crocodile. At least when you're awake, you believe yesterday's dreams are tomorrow's perhaps. Yeah, of course. Of course, mate. Yeah.
My name's Bobby the Croc, and I've been swimming up and down this creek for a few days now. Now listen, rumours have it that Terry, thinks he's gonna bring me down with the monkeys. Well, I've got news for them. They're in trouble.
So I went down that tree, put them damn squirrels in both there. Said, bye the band.
See you later, mate.
Bye Jimmy.
Yeah.
Toodaloo now, boss. Got down at the bottom of the tree.
I went straight to the Wildlife Protection Center. Walked on in there and said, boy, get behind that counter there, boy. And a little snake appeared. I said, I need to report a crime, a war crime. Can you help me? Can you help an old armadillo out, please?
Well, sure I can. What is it that you need?
The damn crocodile. What's his name again?
Bobby the Croc.
Bobby the Croc.
I've heard all about him.
Sweet child of mine.
Sounds like you got a problem there, boy.
He's down there in that river, causing all sorts of havoc and mischief. I'm sick of it. The habitat's not a nice place to be around this crocodile here now, boy.
But what is it you expect us to do for you, boy?
So all I'm saying is we need some help. Because this war's gonna start. I don't like war. War kills people.
Well, I'm sorry there, boy. You're gonna have to find your help somewhere else.
Take your slippery ass outside. I'll punch you up, motherfucker.
Get the f*** out of my Wildlife Protection Center.
Oh, yo, shit, bitch. I go down the road. I see that damn band I saw before. I swear boys up to something.
You alright, Terence? You good?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk away from you now.
Oh, that's good, because I'm going this way. I need to deliver something to Bobby. Bobby!
The fuck do you want, you cheeky little...
I heard that the squirrels and that Terence guy, they want to fuck you up, mate. They definitely do. Yeah, ain't that right, Jimmy?
Absolutely.
That's what I heard. That's definitely what I heard.
Jimmy, mate.
This war that's coming, right? It's going to rattle the jungle. There's going to be a disturbance. Right?
Basically, you're just stirring shit here, aren't you, boys?
No, would we do that? We're just innocent monkeys.
Chilling in the trees.
What do you suggest I do, boys?
Go and fuck them up.
Come up first, man.
So I swim down the creek. I'm Bobby the Croc, mate. This motherfucker's getting eaten. So I turn up. I find out where he is. Do some research, you know. And I sneak up behind him. And I say, hey. I say, hold up now, Bobby. Hold up. Motherfucker. Can't you sneak up on me like that? Yeah, mate. What's this I hear about you? Starting the Viva La Revolution against me, son. You want to know what I know about that now, Bobby? It's all fucking true, bitch. What the fuck are you gonna do? Well, I'm not scared of no big bully like you. Come right out town, trying to run shit. I run shit around here, motherfucker. So I got my 12 gauge from the back of my shell. Put it to Bobby's motherfucking head. What the fuck you gonna do now, Bobby? Mate, technically I can't even pull the fucking trigger. I ain't got opposable thumbs or the capable means of doing so.
Told you, Jimmy. Starting the war easy as
Easy.
You owe me $7 dingo dollars.
Sing 'em dingo dollars. No problem.
I'll turn around and I'll bite that in the back because he can't pull the trigger. The problem is he's fucking armored, the little. He's an armadillo, so my teeth don't break through. But I'm Bobby the Croc, so I just bite him again. Next thing, he broke off my fucking teeth. This wasn't as easy as I thought it's gonna be. I turn around to him and I say, you cheeky little armadillo. I don't even know what I'm just gonna walk away from this. You're lucky, you But I swear to God, you do one more thing to say something out of line, I'm gonna hunt you down. You hear me, boy? No, I don't hear you. I go out under my other shell, and I whip out a gun specially made for armadillo. Trigger all ready and such. I look down range and I see Bobby running on down the river. I hold my breath. Look down the sight. Head, trigger, bang. Bobby was gone.
This has been episode 6. Big shouts to Josh, our first guest. He was talkative to say the least.
He set the bar.
He did.
Like, he set the bar for next
He
guest.
really did, didn't he, Ben?
Yes, didn't he?
Yeah, man. But yeah, I think that's it. We'll wrap it up. Safe, Ben, as always. Been a pleasure. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye, Jack.
Bye now.
Bye, Ryan. Peace.
The After Hours Podcast.
Check it out, y'all.
I seen a girl get fingered in. It's. Oh, I wasn't rapping.
It sounded like
Did it? All right, nah.
And stop.
Jesus Christ.
you'd gone there. I was like, well
You nailed it.
I
That's
was
what we was
excited.
waiting for. That's all we needed.
Yeah.
I see the girl get fingered, yeah.
Fingered in.